Welcome to the Women in Vinyl podcast with Jen DiEugenio, founder of Women in Vinyl, and contributor Robin Raymond. This podcast facilitates conversations with those working in the vinyl record industry to educate, demystify, and diversify the vinyl community.
Hi, guys. This is episode 64 of the Women in Vinyl podcast, and my name is Amanda Schutzman, and I'm your favorite guest host because so far I've been the only one. Today I have my very good friend and coworker, Jackie from AMS. She is the All Media Supply Marketing Manager. And her old coworkers from Lilliput Records, Tanner and Brian, and you can all introduce yourselves.
Yes, I'm Jackie. I'm the marketing manager for All Media, like Amanda said. Amanda and I were on the board of directors for Women in Vinyl together, so that's kind of where my job came from, because Amanda said, hey, we don't have a marketing department at All Media Supply, so you should come on and...
You should probably do that.
You should start it and run it and make it work. And so, yeah, going on 3 years of having done that.
Today is more of a conversation because you are so scheduled and so on top of things. Wrote a panel for Women in Vinyl that I was on in Minneapolis making vinyl a few years ago that kind of was centered around the same subject. So it's fun to bring back some people that you know very well to talk about it. That's very cool.
Yes, I'm very excited because I worked with Brian and Tanner when Lilliput was the exclusive company.
Yes. Before it was ever thought of as Lilliput.
Yeah.
We got to get into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys want to talk about the transition from exclusive becoming Lilliput? Just because I feel like the exclusive company is kind of this like lore. It has like this lore. It's like this like mythical legend within the record store community. So if you guys want to just talk about that.
Totally. Especially within just Wisconsin being a Wisconsin-based chain. But yeah, so I started working at the exclusive company in 2017. And I was part-time there and then slowly worked my way into being full-time. And then near the end became the assistant manager. And Brian was the manager all throughout that time. And yeah, we got a call one day, shortly, maybe 4 months or so after Mr. G, the owner of the chain, had passed, saying that his family was going to liquidate the chain. And so we quickly sort of formulated a plan to try and save it in some way. It didn't initially look like us buying the building, or it didn't look like how it ended up being at all. It, in my head, was we would buy the inventory, we would find a much smaller location and sort of, build it up from there. But somehow, in some way, we were able to make this all work. So,
yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, the exclusive company, speaking of the lore, was a regional chain since the first store opened in 56, I think, and eventually expanded to be...
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yep, expanded to be 11 stores at their height. And so through much of that, the owner, Mr. G, was very vocal, and he did a lot of radio and TV ads. So he was well known throughout much of Wisconsin, and particularly up north, I think, in the Fox Valley. But it certainly, reached every region that there was a store. People knew of the exclusive company. So a lot of people have a either it's nostalgia or some sort of personal tie for their record store as they were growing up and things like that.
That's so great. And Carrie, your rep at AMS, was your rep when she was at Baker and Taylor. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's really cool.
And then Ingram.
Yeah.
And here.
Yeah. Oh, wow. You had her at all three places?
Mm-hmm.
I
I think so,
I
right?
think so. Well, I get confused with the Ingram and Baker and Taylor because Ingram bought Baker and Taylor. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
something
I
like
think
that.
it's at that point
Yes,
when
I think so.
Carrie, I think maybe it's then that Carrie left.
Okay. And we stole someone from Ingram.
We
And
had-
we have a wonderful rep named Ken Norton who is from
Oh yeah.
Ingram. Once Ingram dissolved. So now we have 2 old Baker and Taylor employees, both from Ingram. So that's awesome. That carries your rep. She's
Yeah.
sensational.
We love
she's
Carrie.
great. Mhm.
Truly one of the best. And I've lost so many wonderful accounts to Carrie because she's technically the true New Yorker and was in New York before me. So she knows all the cool New York accounts and kept them.
Nice.
Now I'm a little jealous and I should steal her Milwaukee account, but I'm not
Yeah.
gonna because I'm gonna be an adult.
Yeah.
Moving on. No, that's great.
So anyway, yeah, that's the exclusive company in a nutshell. But the
56
family-
is crazy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the family felt that when he died, the store died with him. So that's why they liquidated. They didn't let the name, didn't sell off the name or anything. They just shut them down. Sold 3 of them. Yeah, obviously we bought one.
Yep. But yeah, we worked with the interim owner, which was his nephew, Mr. G's nephew, Mark Giambetti, who we love. He was a great help in, I mean, it wouldn't have been possible without him. He was incredibly encouraging for us to, he was the one who brought the idea to us to buy the building. That was never, we didn't think that would be feasible at all, especially making record store wages. And, but yeah, we with the help of the community, we did a GoFundMe and then a lot of fundraisers as well. And we were somehow able to make it happen. So
That's awesome.
And so here we are.
Mhm.
Yeah, a nice loan to our name.
Yeah.
But it's what we want.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Why we're
wanna-
all here.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to just kind of explain where the name of your store came from? Because I feel like that's also pretty interesting too.
Sure. Well, as we were trying to come up with a name, because obviously you need a good name for a record store.
Yeah.
And we were throwing names around, excuse me. And one thing led to another. And I think actually first the name Kleenex came up. Or is that right?
That would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was we were in this office actually, and we were bouncing names off each other. I said Au Pair Records because I love the Au Pairs. We both do.
So, yeah.
And then I think you were like, well, that reminds me of an Au Pair, and I was like, well, yeah. And then you
So
might have said
that was-
Kleenex, but
Mhm. I think then it went straight to
it might have gone straight to Lilliput because obviously we can't do Kleenex.
Yeah.
They would come after us, but
Couldn't-
yeah, right.
Honestly, I feel like they would just be like touched.
Mhm.
Like, they would be
I
like,
don't know. Ask green jelly, dude.
Yeah, right.
"Oh,
Yeah, we've had one of our friends pitch the idea that we open up a coffee shop next door that's named Kleenex to have the like Kleenex Lilliput. But
Yeah.
again, I
Great.
don't think that'd be feasible.
Yeah, the only
As
thing
cool as it'd be.
about the Lilliput is that we did name it directly after the band, but somehow in the way of looking at it, it's only spelled with one L. The band is, and we spelled it 2 L's. We put 2 L's in the middle, thinking it would more people would think of it that way on account of Gulliver's Travels. So
Oh,
Yeah, we sort of gave it a double meaning so that people could sort of choose what made most sense to them. At its core, it's based off of Lilliput, the band, and like paying homage to post-punk because that's, what we love. But for folks who are into like books, well, we are too, but
for those other people,
yeah, no. Yeah. We wanted there to be multiple meanings that people could find within it. And so then you could like there's this like whole concept of us being like the little guys, Lilliputians, like in Gulliver's Travels up against like, big box stores or however you want.
I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's so cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, that was one night I was just like, how can we give meaning to this? And yeah.
I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that-
the thoughtfulness of it is is awesome. And I think branching off of that, kind of leading into the first part of our discussion of marketing within independent record stores, I think it's kind of basic knowledge at this point that your store should have a social media, your store should have a website, things like that. So if you guys could just kind of explain what you think you guys do differently in now owning your business instead of, running it as exclusive company, in coming up with ideas of what to post, maybe outside of the normal things, like we have this event going on, so that Lilliput is seen as a must-visit destination.
Yes, and keeping customers engaged and wanting people from out of town to come to the shop, and how to keep people interested generally.
Yeah, well, I think especially in terms of transitioning from exclusive company to Lilliput, obviously we had passion in working there at the exclusive company and running it, but there's a whole other level once you own, your business, that where it's like all of a sudden these ideas sort of just start coming to you. And at the same time, with the exclusive company, we weren't representing ourselves necessarily and like our vision. We had someone else's that we had to obtain. And so with Lilliput, it's sort of, we can do whatever we want, and there's no restrictions, and sort of it's just like, we just run it by each other, and we're like, hey, let's just do it. And for a
That's
while,
a beautiful feeling, yeah.
it is. And I feel like in the beginning, it maybe wasn't so obvious for us to think like that because we hadn't for so long. But I don't know. I think just trying to be more creative with our posts. I'm the one who runs the social media. It's not my favorite thing to do in the world. I don't like being on social media.
I get it.
But I've tried to sort of lean into it. And I don't know, I think we've just tried to do a lot. I mean, we do a lot of giveaways to keep people, interacting. And we try to break up the monotony of new releases, listening parties, but it can be hard. It can that can all sort of cloud our page at the same time. But we've started doing, our Bella, who runs our TikTok account, she has started doing like album reviews of albums that she really loves, and we've been posting those on the account just to keep people engaged and also, bringing new music to our followers and things. So
that was something that I brought up on the last episode, or maybe even the other last episode. I don't know. I've been doing this too long. It's like my 7th episode now. Where it's just really difficult to find the right audience for your area unless you really know your area. So for me, social media was always really difficult because I was always working for a new shop and I was always working in a new area. For you guys, it must just be very, very focused, and you have your regulars that you've known, for a really long time. Does that play into your networking at all? Like, do you know, like, what you want to carry or who you want to target?
I think we are really lucky in that I feel like our store is very indie coded, and we're lucky in that is what we align with too. And so we sort of just bring in what we really like, and then it happens to be what our customers really like.
Yeah.
Not to say that, I mean, you're going to say something?
I was going to say there are occasions when things are brought to us that are not within our normal
realm.
And then it can be a little awkward, posting about things that you aren't,
normally carrying.
Yeah. But sometimes to keep up relationships with labels and artists,
right.
we do that. And but there is, things that can be a little awkward.
Yeah. You can tell within the engagement of those types of posts that it isn't what sells well, and it's not really what our customers are into. Just by the engagement. But
a little difficult, but still.
Yeah.
I mean, but we also at the same time, we don't want to shut out anybody.
No.
So there are some people we'll shut out, but in general, as far as music goes, we like to,
I like that you have someone like specifically for TikTok as well, because I know that I'm young technically, but I feel like 75. Like I've always been hanging out with dudes 40 years older than me. TikTok is foreign. Very foreign. And it's really not for me. I don't really know how to promote on TikTok. So I mean the name of my website is wearesmelly.com. So I don't know how to promote at all. But in general, TikTok has just been really like a tough hill for me to climb. So it's very cool that you've appointed someone specifically for that. I think more shops probably should be bringing people on specifically for roles like that like in the 70s you wouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm going to bring someone on for social media promotion.
Right.
You had someone that was doing your mail order catalog, in the 90s or something like that, but there wasn't anything like that now. I would need a TikTok person.
She's really taken it, and I mean, she loves doing it. She does a great job.
That's awesome.
Want nothing to do with it.
I think
I'm very scared of it. I know I should engage more, and I just really don't. It's so foreign.
Yeah. No, I mean, as a marketing manager, I'm like, I don't even know how to use the editor on TikTok. So there's like, I just should not go anywhere near it. But
I think I've grown with Instagram so much. Like I was right on Instagram when it started, and I watched everything kind of happen that I've been okay with it. But I'm scared to start a new platform, and if I had opened my own shop, I think I wouldn't be on TikTok because I'd be just a little shy.
Yeah. I tried posting here and there, doing little videos. The editing was not that great. But I was like, I gotta do something. And then when Bella came on, she showed a lot of interest, and she's got that Gen Z spirit. So
that's what we need those young kids for. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think one thing that is cool about this is somebody working in a record store may not necessarily have an opportunity to really show their creativity and use a platform like TikTok. And then here we are with Lilliput Records, like making that possible for somebody. So
right.
So speaking of the music that you guys like and bring in, and then your customer base, you guys are also a huge hub in the local music scene, I would say, of Milwaukee. So you guys have a pretty wide and expansive selection of local music. And I think that kind of sets Lilliput apart from maybe some of the other Milwaukee stores, because I think our other Milwaukee stores are like great at stocking it, but you guys seem to be, it was a consignment program that, exclusive company had, and I think you guys have kind of just taking it another step forward. So if you guys could maybe talk about that, because I think that's something that some other stores in bigger cities that have really cool local music scenes just kind of maybe overlook, or they don't quite know.
They don't know how to embrace it.
Yes.
Right.
Well, we certainly embrace it.
Yeah.
We would encourage more, bands to come in. We do generally work on a consignment basis. One thing now with so many for smaller, I don't know, I want to say smaller bands, but younger bands just putting out releases, cassettes, CDs, whatever, or vinyl. There's a lot of opportunities for bands to sell direct now via Bandcamp or shows, etc. So we do like to make it clear that you can get them into a record store. It's not that hard, and it's a good way to start. People will see it that won't necessarily see it otherwise. So
that's awesome, especially for a larger store in a city like that. Like for me, I'm not really in New York City. I was on Long Island, and a lot of our local bands were just like trying to get into Brooklyn and Manhattan. And I was like, listen, I'll buy your seed, no consignment. I'll just buy them and give them away, man. Like I'm just trying to help. So it's very cool to see like such a big city embracing all the smaller kind of up and comers in the area. That's very, very cool. And we need a lot more of that.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that I discovered a lot of Milwaukee music working at exclusive company. So you guys kind of taking it one step further, like showcasing it on your social medias and having your in-store events.
Yep.
Is like, I think it just also, people who are visiting Milwaukee may not like really understand the culture or really want to engage with it. And so having a record store like yours to go to and discover the new music, I think is awesome. So I think a lot more stores, it would be beneficial to them if they had some way of doing it. I think you guys do it really, really well. So
thanks. Yeah, I would like to do like, yeah, I think, I don't know, whenever we get a new consignment in, I try to post about it on our story and just be like, hey, this just came in. And like, we're always happy to do those cross collaboration posts with local bands who drop things off. But yeah, I think the local scene in whatever city you're in is like incredibly important and can lend a lot to the record, like your record store. And so sort of like leaning into that is really could be really cool and beneficial to your
I mean,
store.
it's all
And then just
very
the community
connected. All
efforts.
those small local shows that are
Mhm.
happening at all those small local venues, you
Mhm.
know, you want those people to know it's available at your local shop. You
Yeah.
know, so it's super important.
Yeah. And we have a stage. It's quite small, but it does the job. And we, for a while, we're having local bands come and play pretty often. We try to do it as much as possible, but usually if we're doing it after hours, it is just us that are working them, and we already
I've
work.
been working all day.
Yeah, we already
Yeah.
work long weeks, and so we try to do it as much as possible, but it can be sort of, you know, difficult at times
Mhm.
on work weeks that are longer. But yeah, we always want to get local in.
All for a good cause. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
well, that was going to be one of the questions that I was going to discuss with you guys is you guys are not just a record store. You guys have kind of become this in-store event space as well. So if you could just kind of go over and explain the overall benefits to having that. I mean, like you said, it's, you know, your stage is, you know, it's smaller compared to, you know, an actual venue. But if you could just kind of go over the benefits of being a store that it has the capability of hosting, and maybe explain one of the last events that you had, what your customers' feedback was, because I think it's, you guys are kind of this, you are what people like myself and Amanda want in a record store. Like, we want to come there and buy vinyl, but we also want to buy books and we want to buy shirts and we want to get, you know, in line for an album signing. Like, we want all these things and you guys do it. So
Yeah, I think it started as really small, just labels and bands reaching out and asking if we wanted to do this thing, whether it be, I don't know, you know, yeah, a signing or, you know, in store, and us just saying yes, and then it kept snowballing into more and more and more. But I don't know. I think I don't know what negatives could come out of that personally.
Right.
Like I love doing all of these types of events. Like our last big event was Frico. They're from Chicago. Came and did an in-store and then a signing for their new album. And it was a lot of fun. Like they're great people, and
I think that kind of grew out of, we asked them to play our record store day 2 years ago
in 2024.
Okay.
And they also happened to have nothing going on record store day, so they drove up from Chicago, played a great show, and now they've just continued to play and are getting more and more fans. So this last in-store was really fantastic, and they're
That's
really great
why you
people.
make friends.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why you make friends.
Right.
I had, well, I'm like a 90s nerd because I was born in the 90s. But there was a singer songwriter who toured a lot with Elliott Smith, and her name was Mary Lou Lord. And not a lot of people know Mary Lou Lord. Huge Mary Lou Lord fan, and her daughter Annabelle worked at Spike's Record Rack in Catskill, New York.
You know, Spike?
Huge. Yes, huge teenage fan club fan. Like we just hit it off right away. And she actually wound up playing the grand opening of my store on Long Island, drove from Massachusetts all the way here with no plan other than just to play the grand opening of a literally closet. This store's so small, just this little
Awesome.
closet. That's what's great about making friends. And I'm like, I just didn't, no one knew her. I was like, listen, it's Mary Lou Lord's daughter. Just come.
Yeah.
It's Mary Lou Lord's daughter. Just come.
Yeah.
It worked out. We had a great grand opening, and
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've done, different shows with like Undertow, and where they like will book a show and then like people buy tickets through their site, but where people play.
Yeah, where it would normally be a house show.
Right.
okay. Yeah.
We can operate as a venue if they can't find something, in the area. And that's worked out great for about half a dozen shows or so.
Yeah, but we love it because just like Record Store Day, you're getting in new groups of people, and even if they don't come back, I think there's still a lot to be said about them seeing your space and seeing what you're about, because no matter what, there's always going to be word of mouth. So if they don't come back, they might still tell other folks that they know. And I think for us, shows like that, it's about the word of mouth and just the advertising, getting our name out there. Even if like for the Undertow shows, for example, we don't make money from that necessarily. We always keep our doors open so people tend to shop, but the making money part isn't the goal of those shows.
Right.
It's to bring new people in, new faces, and every time we get the list of who is coming to the shows, we're lucky if we recognize one name, which I think is like,
that's really cool. Yeah.
I think there's like a big benefit to that, because again, you're just getting them inside, and more times than not, they are shopping. So
yeah, but I think the chance to have any new person in the store is a huge benefit because we'll go out also to a show, and you'll be some ballroom with a couple thousand people, and we've sold 6 copies of the CD or album, and it's like, where are all these people? We don't, you don't any chance to bring any of them into the store is a bonus. So
yeah, and I think too, even though we are a larger store, we still are very much in our infancy. And I think, we're almost 4 years old, but I think a lot of people still don't know that we exist. And so, yeah, I don't know. Even though
I brought that up in the other episode too. Like 4 years later, I'm sitting here at this desk and someone's walking in and saying, "Oh, there's a record store here," and it's like, "Bro, what have I been doing?" Like,
I know, but we get that all the time.
What have I been doing this whole time?
Yeah.
People will be like, "Oh, I live down the street. I didn't know you guys existed."
Buddy.
So there's right, but also I'm like, okay, well, great. I'm glad to have you here. And there's so many places that when I'm like walking down different streets in Milwaukee that I don't normally, I'm like, oh, I didn't know that place existed. And then it reminds me that there are so many people who are doing that with us. and
right.
Yeah, so we need to really, this is just another advertising route.
I do also feel with having a band like Freako in your store is like Milwaukee and Chicago have this, because they're 90 minutes apart, and they do have this kind of direct channel to each other, where I do feel like a lot of, and maybe I'm just speaking on behalf of them, but it's okay. I think specifically Mike and Jerry at Loud Pizza will be fine with this, but I feel like there is this kind of either all inclusive or just sort of, hey, we're neighbors, relationship between Chicago and Milwaukee. And so, yeah, I think people visiting one or the other, people from Milwaukee will go to Chicago and they kind of look through that local music scene in those shops there. Then same, Chicago comes here, and then when they're in, they can see the Milwaukee artists, and I feel like it's a nice relationship, but maybe perhaps I'm naive and I don't know anything. But from
that sounds right.
Yeah. My point of view as a collector who visits both cities and goes to shows in both cities and have lived in Chicago and am in Milwaukee, that is my overall take on it. So
Yeah.
moving into, you mentioned Record Store Day and Frico being there on Record Store Day. We do have some stores who are not Record Store Day pledge stores that could perhaps be listening. Maybe they are thinking about becoming a Record Store Day pledge store. You guys you are like the masters at Record Store Day. You are. No, you are, because like
I'm just gonna brush off my mic and make sure I'm listening.
Well, no,
I'm
okay,
listening.
again, from somebody who worked there and then is now a customer, it just seems like everything goes smoothly. And like I visited you guys the night before when you were setting up, and you guys were under a lot of stress and pressure, yes. But it just seems like everything it just comes together so nice. So if you would just kind of go through the Record Store Day experience as shop owners, and then what are the benefits to being a pledge store?
Well,
That's a loaded question, Jackie. You can't just like drop
No,
that on someone.
Yeah, I mean,
I think we agree on is that Record Store Day, excuse me, it works really well for our store. We've been doing it long enough. We have figured out some of the, quirks of ordering and managing the people the morning of, which can be a lot. And also, we've come to, as owners, we know what to expect out of each other as it gets closer. So
he's saying he knows what to expect out of me.
yeah,
The stress builds.
but it's extremely beneficial to us as a store. I could see how. I know every year you hear the frustrations from stores, either stores that don't participate, some stores that do participate but don't want to. But, for us, it makes perfect sense. We have a lot of customers that we see a ton of our regular customers on that day. There could be flippers mixed in. There's no way getting around it, but I think we're lucky that we don't have a lot at our store.
I think we're lucky that we don't. Any ones that we knew about, they don't come here.
Because they tried so often, they made themselves known.
Yeah, and they never tried with Lilliput which is good.
Yeah,
that is actually very impressive. Like maybe they had a change of conscience. Like, okay, these people are actually like local, real people that I know. I probably should not try
That's
to
giving them a lot. That's being very generous, Jackie.
That's what she does.
To be positive and give them the benefit of the doubt. Still, like, okay.
No, it's very, very, very kind. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like Brian was saying, I can see how certain stores see the cons of it. I think, yeah, for our store, it makes total sense. But we also are one of the stores that already carry thousands of catalog titles. So if you're not one of those stores to bring in all of these titles for this one day, that may not make the most sense for you. But
I think that is the problem with most stores, is that they consider it a necessary evil when it doesn't have to be necessary.
Or there are also these stores who do it and participate and go through the stress of it because their entire fiscal year profits are like riding on this one day, and there's no change.
Well, I think that's what this conversation should be more about, is that how could we change their marketing strategy so that it isn't all dependent on 1 or 2 days throughout your entire year? Because especially if you're depending just on used, and a lot of these people that we're talking about are primarily used, and they're getting really angry that they have to bring in, Rudgren's greatest hits or whatever's coming out that year. I understand. I get it. You don't need it. But maybe they just don't really know how to promote themselves on social media with saying like, we have great $10 mystery boxes, or we have great, you know what I mean? Things like that, where they've just kind of lost the point because they're still stuck in the 80s and 90s. And that's like when they've been operating their store. Most of the dudes that I talk to don't know how to place an order on the B2B.
Yeah.
They don't. They don't know how to fill out an Excel sheet and save it and send it back. I'm working with Google Docs, babe. You fill out this Google Doc, it automatically saves. You let me know when you're done. And
Yep.
it's like their life is different. Like Jesus has shown upon them. And it's just it's because they haven't really moved at the time. So all of the record stores, I mean, my father, he closed his record store in 2008. On record store day, 2008 is when we closed. So he's not really used to B2B sites. He's used to my boss, Todd, rattling off UPCs to Todd for 3 hours on a phone call. And that's how he'd place his orders. But I'm not 8 years old anymore, and that's not how the world works. So it is really more of just like tackling TikTok and Instagram and finding your specific audience. Do you only carry used? That's great. Don't feel like you need to feed into record store day. Maybe you could send them to, if you're in Michigan, Dearborn Music, if you don't carry a lot. You know what I mean? So I feel like a lot of stores feel pressured because their customers are asking for it. But now we're in a place where like major cities, like you have multiple record stores.
Yeah.
And you can point them in the right direction. Doesn't have to be on you anymore.
Yeah. And I think too, like a lot of record stores feel that they like if Todd Rundgren's not your, in your wheelhouse, don't bring him in. You don't have to do that. Like it's not, I mean, we order every title because that's what we've been known to do and it works for us. And we order in different quantities.
Yeah, some we don't order a lot of.
Right.
Some we order a ton of.
Yeah. And so it's sort of just figuring out what works best for you and not getting sort of bogged down in the pressure of anything, because at the end of the day, no one is pressuring anyone to order anything.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Like it's great if you feel like you need to get this for your regulars or your customers or something specific. But if there's 300 titles, and you don't carry pop stuff, don't bring in the pop stuff. I have Jazz Record Center in Manhattan that just orders the 15 jazz titles. Yeah. That's it.
Yep.
So you really just need to know really what works specifically for you.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, with us, I mean, we always we're surrounded by 3 different colleges, so we tend to lean heavier with, a lot of like pop girlies and a lot of the indie scene and, older artists, like, I don't want to call anyone out, but we don't tend to sell the best here.
Yeah, for us, as far as record store day goes, well, actually, most of it. Kind of the old guard of the Grateful Dead box sets, the Fish box sets. Those would have been the really heavy hitters 10 years ago.
Dave Matthews.
They are not anymore. So for us, so we bring in less of those than we would have in the past, but we bring in far more of other things than we ever would have before. So and it's easy to get frustrated as a store when you look and you see all these records that are left over that didn't sell. But
right,
nobody's going to sell everything.
But I think it's a trial and error. Practice makes perfect. Sort of. I'm 4 years in and I figured it out thing, and I think that's really what it is.
So now we can look at
our yourself some time.
And not be overly frustrated because we do know that we've sold. We sold all these others. This is what's left. We've made our money back, and so as long as you aren't left with too much,
right.
And you guys,
as long as you're ordering
list stuff the following day.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like I'm so against people ordering for the next day, and I think a lot of people have gotten really into that.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's not our priority. The whole point of Record Store Day is to bring people into the store.
To come to the record store. Okay.
Yeah. And so we like to have, the day after. There's a lot of people who don't like the rush of Record Store Day and like to come in the next day to shop. And that's their Record Store Day, is the day after. And so we don't want to, take any of, the good stuff that's left over and just throw it up online. And I mean, at this point now, we've thrown a handful of titles on our website, but our goal always is for in-store customers to sort of get the best stuff. So, but sorry, to speak on like marketing and like talking about if a store is unsure of what to bring in, one thing that we have found really handy is asking our customers what, like, being very specific and saying, like, this is not a hold by any means, or like, you know, we're not saying that we're able to get this in specifically for you, but what is on your list? What are like the top 10 things on your list? Because the more we know, the
Sorry,
more
go ahead.
we're able to order.
So
Yeah,
this is something.
some things in the past that we might have thought, you know, God, maybe we need 2, and you've got
Right.
you know, a dozen people saying they want it. It's like, okay,
Oh.
we need to revisit this.
Yeah.
So it is a big help, you know, getting customer input.
Yeah.
So that is one thing that Amanda and I both, in the last 3 years that I have worked for All Media Supply and have been on the distribution side of Record Store Day, which I don't know, super side note, Amanda, I don't know if this is true for you,
Preach, honey.
but like, okay, I came back from maternity leave on January 12th. The list was announced on February 4th. So I just feel like my entire 2026 has just
been Record Store Day. Yeah, and then
And
we take a
I-
break for 2 months, and then the Black Friday list drops. Yeah, that's my life every year.
Don't bring it up.
Yeah. So I have just been in this universe that is Record Store Day, and I'm very happy. I mean, I love Record Store Day. I love Carrie so much. I am very happy to go back
Just
to
take
my
the break
actual
for a minute.
work, my actual like real work. Okay, so back to what we were saying. Amanda and I have discussed multiple times in the last 3 years that I've worked here what stores can do better when they place orders, and a recurring topic that we constantly bring up is asking your customers. And there are so many stores that do not take the time and thoughtfully ask their customers what they want. You guys do this, and what do you think is the best, most effective way of getting feedback from your customers? Because maybe perhaps these people don't do it because they're like, I don't know how to ask, and I don't know, so I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, well, I would say this wasn't our idea. I think Adam from Eroding Winds in Oshkosh Appleton.
He doesn't know me, but I love him.
He's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
He throws everything, like the entire list, onto a Google Doc.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And then you put that on like your website or whatever, and then people can like plug in what they want.
Easiest checklist in the world.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
just check, and then I know
Exactly.
25 people want the Taylor Swift, and
Yep.
I know
So
16 people want the Dead Milkmen, and I don't have to think about it ever again. Google Docs, guys. You hearing it?
Yeah. Yep. And that way you don't have to talk to anyone. If you like to talk to your customers like we do, then a lot of our regulars, I'll just be like, have you looked at the list yet? Is there anything that you were really intrigued by? And then we sort of have this like running list that we just write out.
That's
and tally.
Yep.
And then every year, like when the day the list comes out, we post that the list has come out, and then we tell people to like in the comments drop their list. And you know, people are constantly messaging us on socials, like DMing us, and yeah, all of that. I compile all of that into like a master list, so then when we sit down to do the orders, we're referencing that constantly.
6 requests, 8 requests, not yeah.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
There's always a moment of panic where you think you've underordered. I think next year we will learn, because this year we increased a few orders because and we still have those extra records here.
Well, you're talking about the, what's that list called?
The supplemental list.
The supplemental list. That was our
leftovers, but
yeah,
it's just one of those other things you learn. So it's like, try not to panic.
Do you guys attend summer camp?
Yep.
I feel like I've only met you once, and I feel like it was at summer camp, so that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yep. We'll be there again this year.
See you soon.
It's coming up.
Yeah, we got to buy our tickets, our plane tickets,
or else we're gonna drive.
Okay, so we were talking about stores that kind of how they do Record Store Day may not be helping them or be as beneficial as it could. Do you think that creates this kind of weird culture around Record Store Day? Like the customers that come in to shop, essentially we hope that they love it because they're there and we're making all this money and the store is packed and full. But the shop owners that kind of have these weird focuses on the cons of Record Store Day, does that cloud the culture of Record Store Day at all? For you guys being shop owners and going to summer camp and all of the things.
Say for sure.
Yeah, I definitely couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows how stressful it is. Everyone knows,
No one wants an added
it's-
stress to an already stressful season. Yes.
Yeah.
But the one thing, when people always ask how it was, I was like, it was really busy, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, it is one of the funnest days that we have all year long, because it is just all of our, so many of our favorite customers. And it's just
That's what it's always been for me. Like I understand people disliking it or like that, but I think it's just that they're so focused on the politics of all of it that they're kind of losing the sight of it. It is about the music and the releases, and it's about your regulars and making the people that you know happy. So when I always ordered for Record Store Day, I wasn't really thinking about coalitions. I wasn't really thinking about any of that. I was really just thinking about like, this guy Tony, who's 72, really wants this freaking Tangerine Dream.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna make sure he gets it.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, for me, that's all it's about, dude. I don't care. I just want to take Tony out to dinner on Thursday night and talk about what I got in, so you can get online early.
Yeah, that's how we are too. It's like, when we're ordering, we'll see this and be like, okay, we wanna order enough so we hope that this person and this person can get it, because I'm guessing that it's on their list. And like, I don't know.
I mean, basically, you've got it's just a store full of people buying records and CDs all day long. It's
I'm like excited about it, excited about the music that's in their hands, and I don't know. That's what we love about it. I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say, that's why it is one of our most cherished days of the year, because we get to see everyone being so excited, and our employees are excited, and
and the one,
I think it's also a testament to you guys that you guys really go, maybe not out of your way is not the correct phrase, but you guys really put in a lot of effort to really hosting the day for your customers. You will have coffee, you will have food trucks. So stores who are not doing that, are they missing an opportunity to really, I mean, the store gets like a beautiful updated cleaning. I mean, this is your chance to showcase your business, but you also collaborate with other businesses around to host your customers. Do you guys, come up with a list? Like, what do you do to curate this day for your customers and make this like you're hosting your customers in your business? What do you do to like kind
make
of
it your own?
Yeah.
And
well, I think it's evolved over the years, and it's to the point now where we have some businesses coming to us with their own ideas of there's a brewery in town, indeed, that they do a weekly
vinyl night every Wednesday,
and they raffle off a gift card from us for that. But for Record Store Day, they also were offering a free pour if you bring in your receipt, and that was all their idea. So things like that. It's
that's like, everyone should do that. If you have a local brew, just do that. Just do that.
That's kind of where the culture shifts for me. I think is because the stores that kind of only see the cons of it, they get so laser focused on, I have to bring in these titles and I have to do this, and then they're kind of forgetting about these other pieces that go into making it a really fun experience for their customers.
One thing we've seen as the years have gone on, obviously we focus, Record Store Day it's about the Record Store Day releases, but what we see is, once that passes after the first few hours, we do have a lot of our regulars coming in, or just people that come out because it's Record Store Day, and they're buying non-record store day releases.
Oh, yeah.
They're buying CDs. They're buying just catalog titles, and they're coming out to support the day. We do usually run small sales, which helps as well. But we stock up on our catalog titles, and like I said, clean up. We have DJs throughout the day, and usually a couple bands at the end of the day.
And we do like raffles, a lot of like ticket giveaways and things for everyone who comes in.
Do you like partner with a local venue for tickets?
Yep. Yeah. We awesome. Yeah, the Pabst is one of the main venues that we partner with, but then we do other like small ones too, and bigger ones.
and Summerfest usually.
Summerfest too. Yep. They'll usually give a handful of tickets that we hand out to like people in the line. So I think this year they gave us like around 100 tickets. And so everyone got like one ticket who was waiting out in line as just a perk for spending the night. I think our first person in line was there at like 4 p.m. the day before. I know, and we had like a terrible, I don't know if you remember the weather, Jackie, but it was like really rainy, and
I can't do it. I can't watch people stand outside the store. I like hand out ponchos. I'm the worst.
There were tornado watches.
There were tornado watches. I know. Yeah. I was at Thinks, and I was like hearing the tornado watches.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are people outside our store right now. Are they okay?
I was thinking about that the whole time. I just kept saying, like, God, I'm just wondering about those people on the east side, like waiting in line. I'm just so worried.
It freaks me out.
But we checked in on them when we got in. Everything was okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, they were happy to be there.
Yeah.
That is not like a part of the country that I have to worry about. That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah.
Tornado warnings on record store day.
The whole entire week, we had 3 or 4 nights of tornado watches. And then like the week prior, there was 1 or 2. So leading up to, I was like, oh my God, these guys, they have so much to deal with leading up to the biggest day.
Yeah. Luckily that didn't affect anything.
Yeah, it was extremely stressful because I thought it would.
Yeah. I had a dream earlier that week that we had like 100 sales, or no, we made $100 and there was no line. And I think it was like in part of the weather, but
thankfully it cleared up for record store day proper, and it was still a great day.
Mm-hmm.
So you briefly brought up, Amanda, coalitions.
I did. Yes.
There might be some people listening who I did not know what a coalition was or that they existed until I started working in a record store. Lilliput, you guys are part of a coalition. If you want to just briefly explain what that means, what are some of the benefits? What if there's any disadvantages? Because I feel like it's maybe not something that's super known, especially.
I was going to say, honestly, even if you work in a record store, unless you're a coalition store, no one knows about coalitions, dude. Like,
I didn't know about it when we were the exclusive company. We were in the Doors Coalition as exclusive. I had no idea that we were in it.
Compared to the thousands of stores, in the country, the ones belonging to coalitions is
very, very small percentage, right?
Very small.
I'm not sure exactly how many stores are in our coalition, but yeah, we're part of the Department of Record Stores. I think there are, correct me if I'm wrong, at least 3 coalitions, maybe 4 now.
I think there's 4. Yeah.
Okay.
We're part of this coalition. It is a group of record stores that they work closely with distributors, labels, to promote things, artists, whatever, run programs for rebates and sales.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my head is as far as the coalition.
Yeah, that's the gist of it. But I think like the advantage of it is we sort of have these other people like Adam from Eroding Winds, and Matt from Reckless, and like Steven from Down in the Valley, who
is great too.
Yeah. but who are sort of like in our back pocket, and we're in theirs,
Right.
who we can bounce ideas off of, and sort of just, I don't know, it's like every record store day, Adam and I are texting like, hope tomorrow's great, and like that kind of thing, where we've just sort of got each other's backs. And I think that's like the biggest advantage.
And knowing that you're in different parts of the country, you
Totally.
know,
Yeah,
like
and like,
that's all great. Being able to gauge where
Yeah.
everyone's at,
Yep.
all over the U.S. is very beneficial to every store.
Yeah.
That's why I push stores like go to summer camp. I know that you feel like you're a small store and like you don't go to summer camp because your opinion matters.
Yeah.
And talking to all the bigger stores amongst the smaller stores and talking to the labels and your reps and all being in the same place is just super beneficial for a
Totally.
store.
And it's nice too to sort of be like, oh, you're experiencing that same thing. That's really good to know, because we were under the impression it was only happening at our store, or
Yeah.
vice versa. And yeah, there's some reassurance there that I don't think you would get otherwise.
Right.
So,
Yeah, I'm also under the impression that within the coalitions, it is very much like a collaboration, people supporting each other. It is sort of this breeding ground for different ideas, whether that be good or bad. And here on the distribution side, specifically at All Media Supply, because I think our customer service is like top level, because I would say what 87% of us are record store people. We all
came from a store.
So when I say we truly care about what our stores are doing in their business, it's for real.
I'm in a basement and I don't make commission and I'm really poor. So.
But within these coalitions,
but I love what I do.
I mean, I do too, yes. But within the coalitions, these ideas can be had and shared, and then it can be brought to the distribution side. It can be a bigger conversation that kind of just grows. I mean, that's what I see it working really well and being a huge advantage.
Well, that's what I kind of like about coalitions, and the fact that you're saying that there's 7 when I only know about 4.
No,
it's
okay.
awesome. No, it's cool because now, hold on, wait.
No,
this is hers. This is a
Oh,
new
yeah.
coalition
Okay,
that like basically
cool.
doesn't exist yet. Okay,
but
and it's
see- so see, it's
Oh,
five.
go, Jackie.
There's 5.
Yeah.
Let's
There's
acknowledge
5.
that. We're gonna
you can just
we're
tell
gonna
me
now
acknowledge
there's
their
5.
presence
So
on this
it's
call.
it's
This is
Ryan
for
from
real, right?
Rosie's
Yes.
in Pittsburgh, Matt from Clarizio in New Jersey, and Vintage Vibes. It used to be Vintage Vibes 420, but she moved her address and now it's not weed related. I can't remember where she's from. But Sirs, seriously independent record stores, brand new coalition that is being birthed. And I'm very excited to hear about it because they're just always complaining and they're always right. And it's like, okay, I can fix that. Let's do that.
I was actually asked to be on one of their calls with Todd roughly a month or so ago. It was probably a week or so after the list
Record
came
Store
out.
Day.
So
okay.
Yep. So the list came out and we were on this call with them roughly a week or so after. So 2-ish months ago. And the conversations that they were bringing up in things that they thought, questions that they had, I mean, it was all
Problems
just
they're running
very
into.
beneficial. And we had the
Yep.
opportunity to explain a lot of things to them, which I think really helped. So I mean, how do you guys feel being a coalition store? Do you feel like you have these really good conversations and channel of communications to your distributors and your labels being a coalition store?
Well, I don't know. I think we. I don't know
I
if
feel like as a coalition store, you're relying less on one stops. You're ordering direct, no? Like most of the time, you're not really relying on carry for like catalog pieces like you would.
Well, we actually do rely on one stops for a lot, and we're not direct with all the majors. So
okay,
all but Universal.
Yeah. So we do still rely on one stops for quite a bit, and they still fill the gap. You know, if you need something quick, or
it's actually like good to know because there's a lot of reps that are just under the impression that coalition stores don't need us.
Oh no.
Oh.
You're
No.
able to really just kind of get your
No.
products. We worry about like the small guys, and then like the coalition stores are like, you guys are, if you need us, you'll call us sort of mentality. Which
like at least
you
the
probably
coalition-
don't have because Carrie is like the best.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, at least in talks that we've had with other people in our coalition, I feel like a lot of the times majors aren't the most reliable. And so even though it's a little more expensive to go through a one stop, the reliability's there.
The peace of mind is
Yeah.
Yeah, especially, with new releases and things like that. Or even some catalog, the majors will just, run out and they will send them off to the one stop. So
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
that's where you get them. So it's just a matter of watching what's going on. But I don't know if it's necessarily beneficial as a coalition store, working with one stops or whatever.
So
but
Brian just said something really important that I want all the record stores to listen to, and it's watch what's going on. Can you guys watch what's going on? Could you do that? And then if you have a question about what's going on, you could call me. But you should watch what's going on because things are always happening. Things are moving quickly.
Yeah.
And they
Thanks,
do.
Brian.
Yeah, of course.
Do you think there's any disadvantages to being a part of a coalition? Like, do you feel restrained in any way? Do you feel like, is there any sort of like umbrella guideline that you have to adhere to?
No, I wouldn't say so.
Yeah.
We certainly voice our opinions as much as anything. So
Yeah.
there is discourse within the coalition. So it's I don't think it's there's anything detrimental, to it.
No.
As a coalition, it's a bigger voice as far as speaking to the labels or distros. But
Sure. If we, unanimously come as
yeah,
doors opposed to
Right.
just us coming as Lilliput.
yeah. So we do get at least have some opinion there, and we've heard some pretty heated conversations with it.
Yeah, I'm
with
sure.
its coalition calls. So,
But rightfully
people
so.
are
I mean,
passionate
yes.
about it,
Yes.
and like Gunnar said, rightly so. So
but that only, pushes us further. We have to have those conversations to get anywhere at times. So
yeah, I mean, in addition to our livelihood, it's it's our customers too, and we certainly want to support everything that we've worked so hard towards. So.
Yeah, in our community.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I answered my customers. That's what I said, Todd.
Yep.
Like 10 years ago. I was like, well, listen, I answered my customers. I'm not really concerned about what Record Store Day has to say or what this person has to say. I'm really I want to get this guy what he wants. So what's the easiest way for me to do that?
Yeah.
That's exactly. I just serve this community and that's my job.
Yeah.
And then we take that very personally,
yeah.
Helping
I like people get bad Google reviews and they'll write me a nasty email about it. And it is my fault. And it's the guy at UPS's fault. And I know it is. It's at the end of the day, it's my fault. But I also worked at a store and I also yelled at my rep. And then I realized it's just out of everyone's hands and it's not anyone's fault really. But the customer is what matters, bottom line, to a store that's just existing there every day. So, I mean, as a sales rep, I have to realize that. Like, I don't have to answer to your customer, you do.
I mean, I do think it is pretty interesting that those of us in distribution are at the mercy of the labels, just like, a store is kind of at the mercy of us. And we are both kind of fighting this bigger roadblock. And we both share it. And we both care a lot about our customers and making sure that they have the music and the products that they want. So we're distribution and store owners. We're kind of one in
fighting the same fight. We're fighting the same fight. We have a sales rep named Josh Walker. I wish just like
love Josh.
Josh is the man. Whoever's listening right now who shopped at Grimey's, he was the buyer at Grimey's for 15 years, and he's the best person that's ever lived. My favorite sales rep ever. Josh Walker.
Love Josh.
He complains about everything, and it's because he wants what's best for his stores and his customers. And he's never complaining on behalf of the one stop or saying, like, we're not going to make money on this title because it is AB, like, my customer wants this. It could be the smallest store in America, and he does not care. He just wants his customers to have, like, their Friday releases. And it's because he worked at Grimey's for so long and he had that allegiance to his. And we all have that at AMS. So it is like super, super important to us. Like, we might not know the name of your favorite guy, but you're our favorite guy, man. I promise. Like, we're trying to get your releases to you.
This is also just as much of a way for us to brand AMS as it is to just have a fun conversation.
Hey, yeah.
Todd, please don't fire me, Todd. Please don't fire me.
I'm just taking advantage of the opportunity because I love my job so much and I care about what it is that we do. And I think we are the best.
I was honestly just wearing the island hat to get Sabrina Carpenter's attention. So I don't even really know what we're talking about.
I am also just really trying to do a very good job as a marketing manager.
You're killing it.
We're all doing fine.
Yes.
Okay. Before Jackie's last pressured questions, I'm going to give you a really hard question because it's the Women in Vinyl podcast question. And there's two of you. So this is tough. But if you guys had a dream 7-inch and you can each answer separately, dream 7-inch, it could be any side A, side B. What would it be? And no pressure really, because I chose like AC/DC and Nat King Cole on one. So it could be anything. A 7-inch, side A, side B, any artist.
Oh, man.
So this is a dream 7-inch that has not
Dream 7-inch that does not exist. It's just your two favorite tracks of all time.
And we need the answers right now.
No, we can wait. We can wait till Jackie's done. And okay, we'll revisit. I just wanted to frame the question. Listen, they put me on the spot every time. And I was the first episode ever, and I broke a real sweat. Like,
you should see my underarms.
This is episode 64, and I'm still sweating. So
okay, that's so tricky because I'll go home and I'll be like,
exactly. That was my problem. That's why. And then I thought I'd be ready for the second time that they did it to me, and I wasn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, I mean, we got through all of my talking points. Maybe we didn't hit every single question, but that's okay, because this was better. This is better than what I thought up in my head. My last part was just going to be closing remarks. Like, do you guys have any words of encouragement or wisdom to share, or anything positive for stores out there who may be stuck with marketing and not really know what to do, how to be involved in their community more?
Well, I'm still learning. I think that's like part of it is just like saying yes to as many things and then seeing what sticks. And just being open to stuff has been really beneficial to us. And that goes for, like, you know, other businesses reaching out and you reaching out to other businesses, and just seeing like what works well. And that might be my best.
My best advice would be to remember that you have the best job in the world. You're working in a record store, you own a record store. Really, there's nothing.
Yeah, don't lose sight of that. Because when you lose sight
I love you, Brian. Just words of wisdom all day.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yes, if you're having fun, your customers are gonna.
Yeah, I think that,
make it fun.
Yeah, and make it fun for your employees too, because what's the point of having a
a
record store and not having fun?
Yeah.
Right.
I have two songs. They don't work as A's and B's. Well, they would both be A's.
Yeah, believe me. Compared to mine, I'm sure they do.
Can they be one-sided singles?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Buzzcocks, Real World, and The Clash, Lose This Skin. Neither have been on 7-inch. They should have been. That's all I have to
It's
say.
a perfect side A, side B. It's way better than any of mine.
Yeah,
I love that. I don't know.
All right,
like a Granddaddy song, and maybe like an Eldest Harding song, but I haven't picked
all of mine have been absolutely wild. Just know, like, I think one was Bad Brains, How Low Can a Punk Get? And then the other side was Michael Jackson, PYT. So like, it doesn't, I don't think it matters. It's just been a whirlwind for me over here.
I love that. I'll say The Crystal Lake by Granddaddy. But that may be very well beyond a 7-inch. The other side.
Make it your own.
Yeah.
The other side is just me singing The Crystal Lake by Granddaddy.
Okay, so now I want it. And Robin, we have to make it lathe cut in real time.
Right. Hell yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. This was really great.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see you at summer camp, and I owe you guys a drink.
We won't be sick by then.
Yeah.
So.
A mimosa.
I love a mimosa. We'll spot you a mimosa too.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
This episode has been brought to you by Women in Vinyl and Red Spade Records. Thank you for listening. Please remember to subscribe, and you can always contact us directly by visiting www.womeninvinyl.com.